In today's lesson, we're going to learn how we made this sword and this shield. And I have to apologize because my PS5 controller was plugged in when I made this video. So I didn't realize it had like a microphone in it. So the sound of my voice, the quality will not be as good. But I promise it'll never happen again. And you get kind of used to it after a while, but still, it's not ideal. I thought about reshooting the whole thing, but we just don't have the budget. So if you like the video, subscribe, and maybe one day I can hire an editor to do all that stuff. Okay? So without further ado, let's get this over with. Okay, so to get started, we're just going to add a simple cylinder. Okay? If you were to print this out, this is pretty much 2 millimeters by 2 millimeters. So this is kind of like the size I keep my handles. Okay, so we're just gonna scale it on the Z to about there. And I am actually just gonna move this arm a little bit. Like so. And then I'm actually just going to like put it in his hand. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this. So let's rotate this. Yeah, that's probably fine. Okay. Just to kind of like get the scale. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it here. So if these are millimeters, this like big square is a centimeter. So I want the blade to be about 2 centimeters long, probably. Okay, so let's just isolate this real quick. And I'm actually going to add the blade before I add the like the guard, the hand guard. Okay, and to do that, we're going to simply add a plane. Put it up here. We're going to rotate it by x 90. Okay, and then let's because we moved that this, we're going to try to line up here. It doesn't have to be perfectly lined up, but yeah, if you're anal about that sort of thing, you can spend more time and line that up. I am not. Okay, so we are just adding a mirror. We're just adding a mirror modifier, and then we're going to turn on clipping, and then this plane simply is just going to be like our blade shape. Okay, so however you want, and we said about 2 centimeters. So however you want your blade to look, you want it to look like this, or you want it to look like this, that's going to be your basic shape. And I think I want it to look something like this. Okay? And we're not going to get too fancy with our sword and shield today. Like if we were doing this for a grade, we're gonna just try to pass, okay? Because I don't want to like overwhelm you with like the little like details and like extra credit stuff, okay? We're just trying to get a passing grade, okay? So the next thing we will do is add a solidify modifier, and for the thickness we're gonna make it 1, and then for the offset we're gonna make it 0, okay? And then so that's what we have. And we're actually going to apply the solidify modifier so that this is now solid. Okay? And then we're going to add a loop cut right in the middle, and then we're going to right click so that it stays right in that middle. And then we're going to go to face select in edit mode. We're going to select the 2 faces, and then we're just going to scale this down. And then let's scale it on the X until you get something like this. Okay. And then to further manipulate the points, like maybe you don't like this, we're going to go into just vertex select. we're gonna turn on the X-ray, so when we do this, it selects both, the front and the back. And then you could just, move it however you want. Okay? So I think I want this like this. And then this part, I'm not worried too much about it because we're gonna add like a little handguard, like I said. Okay? So let's see what we have so far. Okay. Let's actually do the handle real quick. I'm going to add a loop cut in the middle because I want this to be like the fattest right here. Okay. So with this and this, I'm just gonna scale it. Ooh, let's turn on X-ray. This and this, we're gonna scale it. Let's go not on the Z, so Shift Z, so not on the Z, and then do something like this. Okay, and then let's add some loop cuts to the top, to the bottom, and then let's inset it just a little bit. Set it just a little bit. And then let's add a subdivision surface modifier. 3 is good. Let's apply that. So we are left with this. Okay. And then just to like cap off the bottom of the blade, I'm just gonna add a little sphere. Nothing too fancy. Okay, to line this up, I'm moving it on the X. And then if you get close, you can kind of tap the arrow keys to like move it, okay? So I'm just gonna do it, I don't know, right there, I guess. Okay, good enough. And then let's subdivide it like twice. Okay. All right, so to do the handguard, we're gonna do the exact same thing we did with the blade. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Let's add a mirror modifier with a handle. Turn on clipping. Let's go to side view. Move it toward the center, right? Probably there. And then let's attach these. And then this, kind of like the blade, you can form it however you want. Since we're just going for a passing grade, I'm gonna do something like this, but we're gonna add a little bit of a fancy thing. Okay, so we're just gonna add 3 loop cuts, maybe. We're gonna go up, down, yeah, something like this. Okay. And then we're gonna add a solidify modifier. And because we need this to be like thicker than the blade, we're gonna do a thickness of 2. Let's do that. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's apply both modifiers, so visual geometry to mesh. And then this is what we have, and then we're just gonna smooth it out a little bit. So in edit mode, let's add maybe like, let's go with like 5. I think that should do it. And then let's add a subdivision surface modifier. I like the edges, but I want the middle to be a bit pointier, so let's add another loop cut like this, and another one like that. Okay. And that'll pretty much do it. And if you want this blade to not be like completely sharp, we can do a bevel, a slight bevel like that. And when you export this to like an STL file, you don't want these huge quants because it might mess up, because even though it's quads, when you export it, it'll turn into triangles. So it'll add like a random like line to make it triangles. I don't know why it does that, but I'm not a programmer, so with this you kind of want to add a few loop cuts so that those triangles that I mentioned won't be as bad. Okay, so yeah, if you like the look of your blade, you can do something like that. Okay, let's apply this. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure everything is applied, all the modifiers, and then we'll just join it. Okay, so we have this sword, and it's not the best sword, but it'll get us a passing grade. Okay, and then I'll probably like put it like this. And then what we can do is we click the sword and then click the palm, and then we're gonna parent it to object, so that now when we move the hand, the sword moves. When we move the arm, I parented this to the upper arm. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that later, but you get it, right? So now we can kind of put him back into a relaxed pose. Okay, I'm gonna do that right now, actually. So I want this, it's right now parented to the upper arm, but I think I want it parented to the forearm. So we're gonna click both of these, Alt P, clear transformation, and clear and keep transformation, and then Control P to parent to object. Okay, so now when we move this, let's do the other side real quick. Okay, Alt P, clear and keep transformation, Control P, parent to object. Okay. Okay. So we got the sword done. So now let's move on to the shield. So I'm gonna move his arm out again. That. And then let's just put like the basic shield shape. Okay, so we're gonna add a mirror modifier. I don't know if this, yeah, let's not. Let's actually just add a regular sphere. We'll mirror it to that sphere. Okay? Then we can move this back to about where we want our shield. And then we could just shape this however, let's turn on clipping, to however we want our shield to look. Okay? I'm going for kind of a basic kite shield looking thing, maybe like that. Yeah, I think I like that. putting this here because maybe I'll want to use it for my shield, but we can get rid of it if we don't like it. But I think it shows some promise. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a solidify modifier. Let's go with 1. Okay. And here we don't need to like change the offset because, you know, this is fine. Let's actually offset it to the other side though. So this is showing on this side. Okay. And then we are going to just add a few loop cuts. Let's go with kind of like what we did with this sword, but this is for a different reason. So now we have all these different vertices, right? And so there's like a method to bend things where you would like add a lattice and then manipulate that lattice, and everything inside that lattice will move however you manipulate the lattice, okay? But that's a little like too complicated for like what we're trying to do, so I'm gonna just show you a simpler method that I use, okay? So the method that I use, it depends on how you want this shield to bend. Okay, so let's say you want the shield to bend just like a curve like this. Like if you had like a tower shield and you want to make it just bend in the middle, you would just take these vertices, and then we're going to turn on proportional editing. And then you would just move it. Let's go to the side view. You would just G and then move it on the Y like so. And then this, you want this to be kind of big, and then it'll bend like that. Okay, but let's say you wanted a bend here as well. Then you would just take the middle, wherever your middle might be. Let's make it this, and then G, Y, and then make this really big, and then you would bend it like however much of a bend you want, right? So this way it bends like this, but it also bends like this, if you can tell. And then, you know, we could just apply that and then do a subdivision surface modifier to like smooth it out. And then we can like, you know, add a border or whatever. Okay, so that's what we're going for. Let's undo everything we just did because I have not made a decision. I think I want to do just the middle like this. Like this. Right? But before we do that, I am going to, because I want like a border. How should we do this? I think I'm gonna duplicate it. Okay, and then move it. No, let's scale it slightly. And then move it out like so. Let's turn off proportional editing for now. Okay, so now we have this like slightly bigger thing, right? And then I think let's isolate it. I think we just get rid of the middle vertices. Okay, and then, I don't know, let's move this. No, how I said we're not gonna like make this complicated and just get a passing grade? This is what complicating things looks like. Okay? Okay. So we have this. And I think what I want to do is just add 2 loop cuts like this. Add 2, add 2. And I kind of call it a day. Let's apply all the modifiers. Okay, and then we're going to see what this looks like. Pop, pop. Okay, I think I'm good with this. Maybe one more just to, because we're about to bend it. Okay? Okay, so let's add a subdivision surface to this one. Let's go 3. And then to kind of go all the way to the edge, let's add some loop cuts here, here, and here. Okay, so this is what we have so far, and I am starting to hate it, but let's just keep going, who cares? So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to apply, going back to our first rule from the last lesson, just do what you got to do to get this done, okay? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this so that it looks like this now, right? And then I'm going to take the middle, let's apply this as well, and then let's join it, join, okay? Let's just see what this does, okay? Let's move it on the Y, back it up, and that's what we have. And you know what? I don't hate it, so we're gonna keep it, okay? I don't hate it. Okay, and then we can get rid of this because I don't think I want this to be like kind of like a blank canvas so that you can kind of, if you were to print this out, just paint whatever sigil you want. Okay, and we're just gonna move this back to about there. Yeah. And then usually what I like to do with my shields is I just add like 2 bands, one for the guy to hold and then one to kind of wrap around the forearm. So that is what I'm going to do right now. I'll take a plane, go here, rotate on the X by 90. Okay, so we'll just like extrude up, extrude up, extrude up, extrude down, turn off proportional editing. Okay, something like this. Let's go with face select. This. I'm gonna move it back to something like that. Let's go to line select. It'll be something like this, right? We can always like change it later. But let's add a solidify modifier. Go to 1. Oops, this to scale. Okay, let's go to 0.75. It's a little intense. And then subdivision surface. Let's go to 3, 4, maybe 4. So that it looks like this, okay? And then we'll just duplicate it and then move it here. And we'll just move these to larger forearm part. Nope. And then I kind of like it to be symmetrical, so let's move it there. Okay. Maybe one was the play. We just want this to be kind of clipping like that, but we don't want any like empty gaps like this. So I'm just going to take this and then turn it so that it matches that a little better. Okay, and then let's go Control 7 to go to bottom view. And then we'll do the same thing here on the bottom of the shield. Okay. And then there we have our shield, and then you can like mess around with this so that it kind of fits better. Maybe go like that or something. And then we're gonna take these two, and then we're gonna parent it to the shield proper. And then we'll take the shield and then parent it to the hand or the forearm. Probably just the forearm. Okay. So then when we move the forearm, this moves. Okay. So let's put it back like so. And clipping through the elbow there a little bit, but you can always, I would say, fix that later, but apparently I'm fixing it now. Yeah, something like that, okay? Okay, so when all is said and done, we got our sword and we got our shield. Okay, and like I said, nothing too fancy. We just want a passing grade, and I think we can pass with this. What do you think? So I'm going to call it there because this is taking a little longer than I thought it would, but I hope you learned something, and if you did, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And in the next lesson, we'll give this guy like a cooler pose and kind of go through what I call like the post process of how I get like a model like this ready for 3D printing. And then, if we're feeling crazy, we'll print it out, okay? So if you're interested, keep an eye out for that video, and I will see you on the next one.